Hi and welcome to another quick tutorial video. Today we're going to talk about taking a small raster image and increasing it in size to make it viable for a larger print. Uh, there are several softwares out there that can enlarge images. Some do a better job than others. But what we did find is that there is a way that you can actually make a raster image enlarged pretty decently using nothing but Photoshop, and oftentimes the end result is better than the any of the other softwares out there that can do this automatically. Let's start it out today. We're going to take an image that somebody sent over to us and asked us if we could make it bigger, and we'll pull it up here. This image right now is currently 72 dpi at 13 by 13. So there's not a lot of data there to create a large scale graphic. Uh, if we're talking about taking this image and trying to turn it into like a vehicle wrap or a wall mural or whatever, there's not a lot you can do with this. But there is, I'm going to show you a way that you can often make these big enough to be acceptable or even better than a quote unquote acceptable amount of noise or pixelation. Step one, while you have your image size, is to change the resolution to 300 dpi. You can use automatic. And you see it's cleaner. It's still a little bit pixelated here in the sample, but it is cleaner. This 300 dpi is going to allow you to enlarge the image, but Photoshop is going to take a much smaller pixel and fill in the blanks as opposed to trying to fill in the larger pixels at 72 dpi. If you had the time and the memory in your computer to do it, you could even increase it to 600. I don't think it's going to do much better. And you can see right here that this 2.63 megabyte image is now 182. So it's not going to take very long for this thing to get massive and really bog things down. So we're going to do it at 300 dpi. And you can see we're already at 45 megs. And we're just going to go ahead and get started. Personally, I usually find that this bicubic smoother is sometimes cleaner than the automatic. But today we'll just go ahead and do this. And we've got our image. It's hard to tell sometimes, like in this image, what part of this doesn't look good because of the way this photo was shot, and what part of it is due to noise and pixelization. See, there's a lot of noise in this raster image around the edges of this. There's not much we can do about that, but currently we're at 13 something by 13 something. If I take this image and just say, okay, I wanted to make it 96 wide, it'll do it. And then, but you see all these artifacts here we're getting from raster, from enlarging that raster image so fast. And as we zoom out, it actually held quite a bit of detail, which isn't bad, but we can make this better. So I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to go back into our image size, and we're going to increase this by no more than 3 to 5%. So you can get your calculator out, take 13.333 and multiply it times 1.05 and it'll tell you the next value. Or you can simply use the asterisk key for times 1.05, enter. And now you're 5% larger. So if you're going to do it this way, I recommend type the star and 1.05, select it and copy it. That way you can just paste it into place. You can just keep doing this over and over. I'm not that savvy with making actions and things, but I suspect that you could probably record an action that would do this automatically for you X amount of times and get it to where you want it to be. We're just, oops. You just keep doing this until you get to your 96. Now let's assume that we did this, you know, 50 times or whatever, and we got up to 96 inches. You're still going to have some noise and some pixelization in your image. There's a way to soften that up a little bit here in Photoshop as well. I'll do a few more of these and I'll show you what I'm talking about. the nice thing about doing this process here is that as the image gets larger, see we're almost 24 inches, we just did 5%, now we're at 25 inches. It'll get exponentially larger much faster as we're going 5% for the current size. So I'm just going to take it up to about 30 inches here for us. We're at 29, and there we go. So we've gone from 13.333 to a little over 30 inches, and you can see that we still got a pretty decent image. If you zoom in, you are going to see a little bit of noise here, a little noise around that. If this is a background image, you may be able to get away from it, get away with it, but you also might want to clean it up just a little more. So you can go into filter and go to your blurs and add a Gaussian blur, and you can just adjust this a little bit until you get it to where you want it. See, if we have none, you can see how harsh this line is. Things. Take it up a little bit. I usually like to run it around 4 to 6, but like I said, I don't do this a lot anymore. Most files get sent to us, everything's ready. We don't hardly do any setup anymore. So we'll do that, and we've got a Gaussian blur over this. Now when we zoom in, you see it's softer, but you don't have those harsh lines from pixel to pixel. Now currently our image size is 240 megs, up from 2.4 megs or so when we started. And this isn't high res photo quality, but if you're using this as a background on, say, a vehicle wrap or a wall mural or whatever, something very large, dance floor, this is going to be perfectly acceptable. It's going to print, it's going to look smooth. That little bit of blur is going to smooth those harsh lines. And when we zoom into here, you see there's still a little evidence of the noise around other pixels in this raster image, but it's cleaned up considerably. And I think you'll find that this is quite acceptable for many jobs. I appreciate everybody coming in and listening. And if you have any questions about other things you'd like to see, please feel free to comment or contact us at Titan Graphics. Have a great day.